Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Keto Mom page. My name is Stephanie, and we're going to dive into Mindset, the book that we are going to start. I'll give you a little bit of time to order it, and then just a thought for today. So as you're tuning in, where are you tuning in from? I know I'm super late this morning. I'm super sorry. And I wanted to shower, and I got chatting all morning, and so I am late. So please forgive me, because I'm always like, I'll be on by 7:30, and today is really late. And so, but I am showered, which for those stay-at-home moms, you know, like, yeah, I'm already winning the day. So where are you tuning in from? I'm tuning in from Minnesota, and I will tell you, we took our kids camping this weekend up north. We're in southern Minnesota, and so we took our kids camping in a camper. Sometimes I say camping, and I know it sounds like I'm roughing it, but it was a wonderful camper. Actually, Carmen usually is on here. We went and stayed with some of our friends' parents, and it was so much fun. Our kids played on these huge hay bales. I don't know if my kids want to live on a farm. They had cows, and they fed a baby cow, and they got to feed big cows, and they got to run all on this huge tower of hay bales, and they had so much fun. We had an incredible, very peaceful weekend. So I hope you did as well. Today, I really want to give you a concept or an idea. I really want to share something with you that changed my life forever. And it was something that I had no idea existed at all. And so, really quick, this is the book that seemed to get voted, had the most votes. So it's called Chasing Daylight. If you're brand new here, you can tune into the page every single day, and we will share recipes and tips and tricks with you and anything that has to do with keto or low carb. And if you've got questions, you can always reach out to me and I will answer them. I'll work with you on your goals and give you suggestions. So that's always on the page. You can go to Keto Mom Secrets, and that has a whole area of recipes, okay? Every morning, we do something called Mindset Morning. And so I'm going to come on here. We've read probably 5 or 6 books, and we're going to give you just different things to think about. Now, we started this book, and I was not feeling it. It's the first time we've not finished a book. Is it a good book? 100%. If you have it, continue reading it. But we're not going to keep doing that book. So we're switching it. And this is the book that got the most votes. So it's called Chasing Daylight. He's a pastor. And so his name is Erwin McManus. And it is an incredible book. And I'll read you the back of it. And then I really want to give you a thought that changed my life forever, or a concept. And so really quick, this book is called Chasing Daylight, is a call to live a life of blazing urgency. We have but one life. We have been given one opportunity to pursue our dreams and fulfill our divine purpose. Every moment counts, and we must engage them with fierceness and zeal. Put an end to passion, to passive observation, paralyzed by the need for perfection and perfect opportunity, and start seizing the raw, untapped potential of your life with God. Are you willing to risk failure? Are you ready to get in the game? You may stumble, but you will find yourself falling forward, propelling towards the God-inspired adventure He intended you to live. So this is the book we're going to go through. Here's the deal. If you don't grab the book, I will give you the highlights of the chapters. I'll give you the key talking points, the key thinking points as we work through it. If you have the book, you can follow along. I think we'll start, if you want to grab it, it's going to take, you can go to Barnes & Noble, you can go to, I don't know if you can look him up on Instagram. I don't know if he has an actual, like his own book, what's it called, store. He is great. He's awesome. He's a pastor in LA. Incredible books, super thought-provoking. And so I'm just going to pre-frame. He does talk about God. And here's the deal, like everybody's different. Everybody has their own beliefs. So some people are like, no, it's not what I believe. Some people are like, yes, that's what I believe, but I'm just letting you know. It's an incredible book. I'm excited to go through it with you. So with that, I think that we should start, let me think for a second. Do you think people can get them in a week? Would it be too soon to start Friday. We'll see. Get the book. It's going to take a little bit to order it. So maybe we'll start next Monday, and I'm just going to give you key points to think about just in general for your life every morning for this week. So today I'm going to share something with you that completely changed the way that I react or respond in any situation. All right? So let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with the term IQ? Most of you are. Yeah, what's your IQ? I don't know what my IQ is. I don't know if anybody really knows unless you take a test, but it's how smart and intelligent you are, right? So did you know there is a similar concept that's called EQ, and there's one that's called AQ. Some people say SQ. And so what that means is EQ stands for your emotional quotient, not your intelligence, but your emotions. How well do you handle those? One is AQ, adaptability. One would even say SQ, spiritual quotient. And so here's the name of the book as I'm talking. Excuse me. I'm going to take a drink real quick. I'm going to talk to you right now really quick about EQ because 100% when I was taught this, it changed the way that I talked to people, talked to my kids, managed business, everything. The concept of EQ was incredible. And I remember the moment that I was like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. So really quick, hold on. All right. So here's the book that we're going to do in a little bit. This has nothing to do with EQ. So I'll post a picture and put it in the stories as well. All right. You have your IQ. Here's my question to you. EQ stands for emotional quotient. How well do you handle your emotions in any situation, right? And I would say right now, in fact, what do your emotions cause you to do? So years ago, probably 6 years ago, and this was a business conversation, I was an overreactor. And so our CEO, I was in a situation where I didn't collect all the facts. Have you ever done that? Where like a kid is screaming, or maybe you're at the office or something happens and you're only listening to one side, right? Or in your head, you think you know what's going on, but you actually didn't collect the facts. And so I didn't collect the facts of a specific situation. I text our CEO and I was pretty rude and I was mad about a situation. And so within that moment, he called me and I was like, the phone was ringing and I was like, I'm not going to answer this. I'm going to get in trouble because I was sassy with my mouth. So I chucked the phone across the couch, or we were folding laundry. I remember I was folding laundry in our bedroom. I chucked the phone to my husband. I was like, you answer the phone. And he chucked it back. He's like, no, you were the one that was rude. You answer it. And we probably lobbied the phone across the bed 8 times before I was like, hello? Hello? And he's like, Stephanie, I got your text. And I was like, because I'm gonna be real with you right now. It's easier to send somebody a text message. It's easier to comment on, like, let's say you didn't like me. Let's say you decided you didn't like the book I was going through, or you were mad that I was talking about God on a keto page, or let's say that you didn't like what I said. It's easier for you to send me a message, to send me a private message, or it's easier for you to type something below that can be hurtful or mean, because you're not face-to-face with me, right? It was easy for me to send him a text message because I wasn't face-to-face to him. And then when you get on the phone with somebody, or let's say I send you a voice message, I've done this before. People can be really hurtful. I've had some incredibly hurtful things sent to me for years. Because if you're on social media, you're putting your life out there, which means not everybody likes you. And so there's been times where I've just blocked people. I'm like, I don't want to deal with you. You can get off my page. There have been times where I send people personal messages and I'll say, hey, I saw your comment, or I saw the message, or wow, I'll leave them a voice message like, wow, that was really hurtful. I'd love to have a conversation with you if you're open to it. Nothing, right? Because it's easier to send a hurtful message or to not collect the facts and send something that's not. I bet you, if any of you don't like me right now, you would never have a conversation with me in person that was hurtful. Like you might come up with you might go, hey, I don't agree with this, but you would never lash out at me in person. But online, it's a different story. So same through text message. So anyways, he's like, hey, I would love to coach you through something if you're open to it, right? Something that I've learned in business and with our community has been incredible, to ask questions and to ask permission. I really should be asking permission. Like, are you open to coaching this morning? My question is, are you open to learning about something called EQ? All right. So I said, yes, I'm open to coaching. It was super like humbling and I felt terrible and I was apologizing. I'm like, listen, I overreacted. I shouldn't have sent the text message. And for an hour, he coached me on something called EQ. And I had no idea what that was. And so here's what he said. He said, Stephanie, in any situation in life, you are going to have the opportunity, number one, to either react or respond. And he goes, we all have our EQ, a level of EQ that we can handle well or not. And you can grow it. So like your IQ, you're intelligent or you've got to work on it. You've got EQ. How well do you handle your emotions? How well? And I was like, listen, I've got 4 babies. I am in the midst of like starting a business. No, I'm a reactor. Like initially, and I grew up that way. I have 3 sisters and a brother. We're all super close. But I was an emotional roller coaster. And so I was like, all right, I get it. So he said, I want you to think about it like this. You've got EQ. Let's say 1 through 10. And how you react or respond in different situations will show where you're at, right? So in that case, I did not have very good EQ, very low. And so he says, here's what I need you to do. In any situation in life, and say right now, I will say, in any situation with your kids or your marriage or your business or physically, wherever you're at, when something happens, you're going to either one of 2 things. You're going to react or you're going to respond. Reaction comes out of anger. It comes out of frustration. It comes out of like, in that moment, you don't think about it. You react with probably hurtful words. You don't collect the facts, right? He goes, but if you can just be aware in any situation where you're like, oh my goodness, this is a really good EQ moment. And you take a step back for 5 seconds and you go, I'm not going to react. I don't have to say anything in this moment. I can think about it. I can collect the facts. I can ask questions to all of the parties involved, whether it's my kids or my spouse or my team. And I don't have to have a solution in that moment. I don't even have to fix it, right? I am going to take a step back and I'm going to respond when it's appropriate. I'm going to take a breather. I'm going to just go, you know what? Okay, in this entire situation, who is in the right? Who is in the wrong? How am I going to react? How are my emotions going to drive this situation? So I want you to think about today. You guys, we've used this with my kids. We've used this in our whole life from that moment. And we've taught our kids this. So we'll go, oh, check your EQ. We use this in our verbiage in homeschooling, in everything. I'll go, hey, EQ. That's all any of us have to say. Even our 8-year-old daughter. EQ, Mom, when I'm about to blow, right? And I'm going to tie this up in a second with how this could react or respond to you eating. Because a lot of people have food tied to emotions. And if you react in any situation versus responding, that's where emotional eating comes in. And so I promise I'll wrap it all up in a second. So I want you just to be aware all day long. How do I handle my emotions in every area? Because our emotions rise and fall all day long with different people and different circumstances. And if you can just get it into your head and go, oh my goodness, this is a really good chance for me to step back. EQ Stephanie. All right, I don't have to react. I can respond. And what am I responding to? I'm going to collect the facts. I might have to take a whole day and figure it out before, like our friends do this really well in their marriage, right? Instead of acting out loud or instead of reacting, they'll say, hey, I actually can't act like an adult right now. So I'm going to have to go away or I'm going to have to take a step back. I want to come back and revisit this situation, but I physically cannot respond well. You can do that with your kids. Hey, you know what? Mommy is not ready to handle this situation. We are going to revisit it, but I have to go figure out how I want to handle it so I don't yell at you or with your boss or with your employees. Any situation, you can go, you know what? I am not adult enough to handle this. I need to go collect the facts. I need to go figure out what happened, and I'm going to come back and respond to you in a little bit. And I say all of this because a lot of this is tied to food. People eat their emotions. If they're sad, if they're angry, if they're frustrated, if they cannot collect their EQ, and if they can't take a step back and you're constantly in reaction mode. I'm going to react. I'm mad. I need the candy bar. I need the ice cream. I'm so mad I'm going to go eat the chocolate. And we use that as an excuse, right? Reacting food. But if you can just take a step back and go, you know what? This has nothing to do with food. This has everything to do with me figuring out what's going on, and I'm going to respond when it's appropriate, right? If all you do today is have the awareness of EQ in your mind, like that it took one moment in time for me to change. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. There are many times where I will react to my children mostly, and then I have to go, oh, I'm so sorry. So my hope is that you just have an awareness of, oh, I have a level of EQ. Oh, this is a situation where I'm not going to react with my kids or my spouse or the situation that I'm in or the fact that I hit my alarm clock. I'm not going to react on myself. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to turn to the donut because I failed this morning. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to breathe and I'm going to go EQ, baby. I'm going to have good EQ. I have to coach myself a lot. And then I'm going to respond when it's appropriate. Not with food, but with figuring out what needs to be done and with the power of my words. And so I hope that makes sense. Does this make sense? And I hope that I just gave you an awareness. There are books about it called Emotional Intelligence. There are books all on EQ, and I've read them, and really the major thing that I learned was take a deep breath. My kids know that if I'm going to blow, I always am like this. And they'll be like, oh, maybe we should go upstairs and play for a minute. Yes, you should. And then I have to figure out who's right, who's wrong, what the situation is, what is the best solution. And then I can go and fix it or do whatever I need to do. And so it is an incredible awareness. I was telling my husband last night, I said, you know what? I am so I'm going to be real with you. I am a servant at heart, meaning not that I need praise for it. I feel like I can see something that needs to be done and I will do it. And if I don't do it, I get really frustrated that I didn't obey. I should have done it. It happened to me this weekend. I saw something that was in need. I didn't do it because I was sitting down and I was like, oh, I'll do it later. And then somebody else did it. And I was like, shame on me. I should have done that. That was rude of me. But I also get really worked up because I think things should be done a certain way, or like not to perfection, but like, why are you not helping? Why are you not doing it this way? Why are you not doing like serving your kids in a certain way? And so I had to learn to go like this. I can only control myself. And that's something else that you need to know along with EQ. You can't control somebody else's emotions. You can't control how somebody else runs a situation. You have to control yourself, right? Even your children, you can teach them and you can model it. That's the biggest thing. And then they will learn from you. My kids will be like, you check your EQ. And I'll be like, you check your EQ, right? But you can't get frustrated at other people because they don't know. It's bringing an awareness to the entire situation. Really. I told my husband, I was like, listen, I'm going to make a list of things that we need to make sure our children learn and have the awareness of before they leave our home. It's not math facts, and it's not Algebra 1. It is, I mean, all of the things that kids are learning when I teach them, because we homeschool, is great. But there are character traits that they have to learn, and they have to be aware of life, because let's just be real, a lot of people lack it. And so I am diving into just a different idea of teaching our kids in character form. And I'll share it with you if you're curious. I'm going to be making a list today of things that I'm like, they need to learn all of these character traits. What does it mean? What is EQ? What is AQ? How do you handle yourself? How do you assess a situation and be a servant to others, right? And so anyways, that was a tangent. I hope you understand EQ a little bit better. I hope that you go throughout your day and you go, yeah, this is an EQ moment. I want you to think about EQ in your mind, and all I want you to think about is, am I going to react or respond? React or respond. Reacting is I'm going to blow it. Responding is I'm going to collect the facts, and then I'm going to have a conversation later. So that's all I've got. I hope you have an incredible day, and I'll bring some more tomorrow that I've learned over the last 6 years, because I've learned a ton. I would say the last 6 years has changed my life completely in who we are as a family, how I respond to people in general, an awareness of life, and so many different things. So continue to tune in. It will be earlier, I promise. I'm sorry that it was so late this morning. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Your presence matters, just so you know. Like when I see you on here responding, it really brings joy to me. So your presence matters in any situation, and wherever you're at. Just know that you matter, and I appreciate you. So have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.